And we are live. Hope everybody is doing well. MG here, MG Covers, bringing you a brand new handicapping video. Title of this video is you're going to watch me handicap a full slate of games for March the 8th, 2021. Before we do that, as always, if you like this video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, you can see there I have the screenshot from YouTube. You get a lot of value, a lot of content on my page. If you're wanting to learn about sports handicapping, learn about the business, it's a very good channel. There's a lot of good well, I say there's not many. Let me rephrase that. There's not a lot of good channels out there as far as learning the business. There's a few. Obviously, I'm not the only one, but if you do subscribe, you get a ton of content, a lot of value, and will help you work towards becoming a better sports handicapper. If you want to follow me on Instagram and all the other social media outlets, it's MG Covers, Covers spelled with a Z. If you follow me on Instagram, get a lot of really valuable content there as well. If I see line movement or a lean in a particular game, sometimes I post it there, or just things I see in sports betting in general that might benefit you. All right, so what we're going to do today, we're going to look at, I'm going to handicap. It's not going to really be too formal of a video. I'm going to handicap all the NHL games for today. So this is, if you're not a client and you're curious what the power rankings look like, these are my lines for NHL. Sometimes after the games are played, I will post my lines and the results. So here are my lines for today. We'll just go through these one by one and show you how I handicap. So the first step when we're handicapping is we want to find value. So we need to, you take my line, which has been profitable for me. So I take my stat model, compare that to the actual line to see if we have value. So the first game, we have Vegas minus 150 and Minnesota plus 115. So we'll go over here. This is oddstrader.com. Really good site. I recommend it. You can see here Vegas is minus 110 and Minnesota is plus 100. So immediately we see that we have value in playing Las Vegas, or not necessarily playing it, but we write that game down. So I got a sheet of paper here. So I write down Vegas minus 111 because there's value there. And if you're new, you don't know how to calculate that. Well, it's very simple. You take, so the Vegas line is, the sportsbook line is minus 110. Our line for this game is minus 150. So we take 110 divided by 150 and we get 0.73. Then you take 0.73 minus 1. That gives you 0.26. You move the decimal over 2 spots, and that's basically your percentage. So in essence, if we do decide to play Vegas, or when we're looking for value, we have value. We're able to get Vegas at a 26% discount. The margin between my line and the sportsbook's line is 26%, which is good. Another way to think of it, if you went into a store and you said, hey, how much are those headphones? They said, well, normally those headphones are $150. We're having a 26% off sale and you can buy them for 110. That's a good deal. Same deal in sports betting. That's an easy way to sort of logically look at value. So I'll write down Vegas. All right. So let's look at the next game. Ottawa plus 120, Edmonton minus 105 is our line. So then we look and we see that Ottawa is plus 210 and Edmonton is minus 204. Now, here, we would not play Edmonton because there's no value. And you might say, well, we consider Edmonton on the puck line? We might. And so we'll check the puck line here. And you can see here the puck line is anywhere from minus 105 to plus 105. And generally, if you're going to play the puck line, if you're new, that means they have to win by 2 goals in order to cash that. So if I'm going to play the puck line, I want really, really, really good money line dog value. Like yesterday, we played Carolina minus 1.5. They won over Florida 4-2. Cashed them at plus 175. So it's difficult to beat a team by more than 1 goal in hockey. So if we're going to play that side, we want to make sure we're getting really, really, really good value and good money there. So that would be a no-go. So for this particular game, the only consideration would be Ottawa on the money line at plus 200. Again, this doesn't mean we're playing Ottawa. We're just looking for games of value. All right, so let's go to the next one here. Arizona, Colorado. Arizona is 115. Colorado is 102. So you can see now the way I calculate my power rankings, I don't necessarily have a favorite and a underdog. So via my power rankings, both of these teams are dogs. So we go to the sportsbook line. Arizona is plus 160 and Colorado is minus 167. So looking at that again. So we have value in this particular example with Arizona, 115. And the line is plus 160. So we can do the same thing there. I don't have to calculate it now. And you'll get to a point if you do this, or if you're a client, you automatically know looking at that, that's good value. But just for this video, 115, we put the little number on top, divided by 160, 0.71 minus 1, and we get 28% margin or 28% value with Arizona. So we write Arizona. I didn't have this unlisted, plus 160. Okay. All right. So we scroll down. Next game is St. Louis. St. Louis is minus 156. San Jose is plus 144. That's the sportsbook line. Let's look at my line. We have Arizona minus 117 and San Jose plus 150. So just focus on San Jose as plus 150. Sportsbook line is plus 135. So we don't get good value there in San Jose. So we would be paying more for San Jose than they were worth. So in order to play San Jose, it'd have to be like the auto example. San Jose would have to be, plus 175, plus 200 in order to even consider writing that down as a potential play with value. Now, realizing that San Jose is plus 150 via my power rankings, and if you scroll down here, what that means is San Jose has a 40% chance of winning based on my power rankings. Now, and you look here, St. Louis is minus 117. So you find minus 117 of here. So St. Louis is somewhere between a 53 to 54% chance of winning. Then this is very important because we're projecting San Jose doesn't have much chance of winning. St. Louis does. The average margin of victory in an NHL game is 2 goals. Okay. So one thing we could do here, let's check the puck line for St. Louis. And just like I told you earlier, okay, we can get anywhere from plus 165 to plus 150. So we would write that down as a potential play on the puck line. All right. So now let's look at the next one, Montreal and Vancouver. Montreal, depending on what book, somewhere in between minus 148 to 161. Montreal's a favorite. Vancouver is the underdog, anywhere from plus 120 to plus 135. Let's look at my line. And we see that Montreal is an underdog via my power rankings, and Vancouver is the favorite. So we automatically know that we're going to list Vancouver as a potential play, and we'll write that down, Vancouver plus 130. All right, and move on to the next game. Last one, Los Angeles, Anaheim. We have, this one actually switched here quick. You can see there it opened at minus 110. Now it's moved. Now LA Kings are now minus 125, 130. And Anaheim is plus 105 to plus 110. My line for this game is LA Kings minus 142. They're a very undervalued team. They've lost a lot of close games. That's why my power rankings have them as a significant favor. So Anaheim, again, only a 40% chance of winning. Los Angeles, via my power rankings, have about a 58% chance of winning. And that's important because when we look at the line, we do get some nice value there with the LA Kings at minus 125. Whoops. All right, so sort of to review the games that we have with value. So we have Vegas at minus 110. We have Ottawa at plus 210. We have Arizona at plus 160. We have St. Louis as a potential puck line play at -1.5 plus 160. And we say Vancouver? Yeah, Vancouver plus 130 and LA Kings -125. So that in itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be a pretty good card right there, just based on value. But again, we don't play games just based on value. So I'm going to show you. So there's two parts to handicapping. You have what I've called the objective part of handicapping, which is the stat model. It's either yes or no. Do we have value or do we not have value? Then the second part of this is what we call situational angles, is what I'm going to cover now. And that is the subjective side. Okay. Not necessarily stats, although they are stat related. But what we want to do is, if we have value in a game, we're going to take these games with value, and then we're going to see if we have several situational angles in our favor. And if we do, then more than likely that's going to be a play. So let's take a look at the very first game here with Vegas and Minnesota. And one of the first things I look for is form. Okay. Recent form, and for hockey, it's generally the last 5 games. As you can see here, Vegas has won their last 5, including 2 days ago against San Jose. Beat Minnesota twice here. Also beat Anaheim. You look at Minnesota, they've only won 2 of their last 5. So this is a good scenario. You have Vegas in good form. You have Minnesota in not so good form. Okay. And again, we're not trying to, I talked about this yesterday on Instagram. We're not trying to figure out, whether Vegas is going to win or not, whether Minnesota is going to win or not. We're simply handicapping situational angles. So form favors Vegas. Okay. Now, Vegas, another thing I do is Vegas is on the road. So what we need to do is, let's look at, so if you're going to play an away team, let's check their away record, right? And you can see right now, Vegas is 6-2 on the road. It's a really good sign. And then also check the teams that we were potentially playing against. I want to see their home record. Some teams are just outstanding at home. Some teams are just average. Minnesota is 5-3 at home. And if you follow me on Instagram, I posted this a while back, or maybe I posted it on I made it a regular post on Instagram, is that because of COVID, you don't have a lot of fans. Teams in NHL usually win at like a 60% margin. Well, hell, we can pull this up right now. Yeah, see, home teams, and that's just crazy. Teams at home in hockey usually win about a 60% margin. Look at that, 50%. So really this year in NHL, now this could change, but currently there's not really a quote home ice advantage. Okay. So let's go back to this one. So now we have 2 situational angles in our favor for Vegas. Vegas is in excellent form. Vegas has proven that they can win on the road. And you look at Minnesota, they are 5-3 at home. So it's not like they're not beatable at home. So there's 2 situational angles that favor Vegas. All right. Now, the next one we're going to look at, and a lot of people miss this one when handicapping NHL, is goalies. And what we're looking for, the same thing. We're looking for goalies to see what kind of form they're in. I don't get years ago, the very first model I had, it was just so bogged down with stats, the way that I calculated goalies. I think it was something like if a goalie was 0.92 save percentage or higher, I would add 15 cents to the line. If they were like 0.88 or less, then I would take 15%. It was just too complicated. I don't even know how to drink water. So the way I do it, the way I handicap goalies now, we're just looking for goalies form, So let's see. And they'll give you flurries, and they said hot streak. I don't generally get caught up into that, but what I look at, if you notice that they haven't announced him the starter, but what I do, I look at the same deal. I look at these last 5 starts. Okay. He's had 2 shutouts. That's good. He gave up 1 goal, 2 goals, and then had this one bad game right here. They gave up 4 goals. So I would classify him as being an excellent, excellent form, right? So again, just to review, we're just going to look at the last 5. So this is an example of, it's almost like the truncated mean. You kind of throw out this top. If you threw out his worst performance and his best performance, he's given up 1, 2, and 0. So he's in really good form. But generally, I just sort of look at these last 5 games. So he is in excellent form. His last start was 2 days ago, so he's not on a back-to-back. And they haven't listed him as a starter. And this is, just so you know, this is goaliepost.com. It's a really excellent resource to use when handicapping NHL. And what Goalie Post will do is once you see it in green, that means it's been confirmed the starter. So let's look at Minnesota's starter. And you'll see he is also, now I've been doing this a long time, so I don't have to really, you don't have to look too hard. He's in excellent form. He's given up 1 goal, 3 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, and 1 goal. So this would be, I would consider this really, really, really good form. Now, so form for goalies is sort of a wash, right? You have Fleury's in excellent form. Minnesota's goalie is in excellent form as well. So that's sort of a wash. We really can't give an edge to Vegas per se. Okay. All right. And the last thing we'll look at, let me see some. Yeah. Is let's look. We'll also read a couple previews. So this is covers.com. Here's their preview. And I think this is really good. This sort of reading a preview sort of gives you an overview of and sort of some insight into the game. And if there's generally an injury, which we're going to cover, they talk about it here. So you can see here after finishing a 4-game road trip, that saw them play 9 of 11 games away from home. Minnesota open a 5-game stand against Vegas. It'll mark the 3rd time the Wild, who have had a 14-day pause, will be playing at home ice. Minnesota swept its 2 home games for the past 5 weeks. They beat the Kings 3-1, 4-3 in overtime. The Wild went 1-2-1 their most recent road trip. Started with a disheartening 5-4 overtime loss to Vegas. They had Vegas up 4-2, lost that one. Another 5-1 loss to Vegas. Let's see. There's some comments from the coach there. Back-to-backs are always will over skill, and tonight I think we tried to skill our way through it. Didn't have enough will, and it's one of those things that we need to look at. Obviously, it's not good enough to understand. It'll be better next game. One big problem the Wild needs to fix their power play. Minnesota ranks last in NHL category, have converted just 5 of 72 chances. So when I read something like that, we'll come back to this. I'll go ahead and check. So if they're last in power play, let's see what penalty kill is for Vegas. This is at covers.com. You can scroll down here and you can click last 10. And now it's going to pull up. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, this is really good stat, right? So you can see here, this is going to be a bad matchup for Minnesota. So Minnesota, their last 10 games, they have a power play. Penalty kills are very important in NHL. So there's really 3. I'll go ahead and explain this. There's 3 parts of hockey. What we call when you have even number of players on each side, that's what we call even goal differential. How well is your team when we have even players on each side? That's one part of hockey. The second part of hockey is power play. When you have an advantage, a man advantage, how good are you at scoring? And then the opposite of that is penalty kill. When you are at a disadvantage, how good are you at defending and not giving up goals? And you can see here, Minnesota power play 7%, penalty kill. Vegas is 95% in their last 10 games. So Minnesota gets on the power play, probably not going to score a lot. of goals. So that could definitely present some issues. And that's another, I mean, all that sort of factored into my power rankings, but it's something I sort of make a mental note of since I saw it in the preview there as well. So let's go back to the preview article and finish that. And I think too, while I'm making this video, you guys can see how long it really takes to thoroughly handicap a game. And that's why I've told this to clients. And if you're watching this video for the first game, this is not an easy profession or something that you can rush when you're handicapping games. You have to thoroughly handicap these games so you don't miss anything. Let's go back to the article here. The Wild will begin a homestand against Vegas that holds a 2-point lead over St. Louis. The Golden Knights will be playing third. It's important. Third game of a 6-game road trip that began with an impressive sweep of San Jose, capped by a 4-0 victory Saturday night. Blah, blah, blah. Vegas won the first game back-to-back. Okay, so Vegas might be a little bit fatigued. We're going to go back and look at that schedule here in just a second. I just want to finish this. And then, too, what's cool about covers.com is right here in the middle, you can see injuries there for both teams, and you want to see their impact, you just click on them. And you can see like even if you don't know anything about hockey, you can see this guy right here scored a goal. Really, really strong player. You can see his assist here and everything broken down. So if he's not playing, that will definitely have an impact on Vegas. Let me see if it shows. And another way to do it, we'll go back over here to Odds Trader. And Odds Trader 2, if you click on, yeah, here we go. And they'll give you a little bit better write-up. Yeah, you can see here he's going to be a game time decision versus Minnesota on Monday. Yeah, I like these when they give you little write-ups here. So he'll be a game time. That might be something to look at, right? And just like in handicapping, when we're looking at an injury, we don't overreact to any specific thing, but we account for everything, right? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go back and look at this fatigue. So you can see here, Vegas is playing their third game in 4 days, which is always a sign of fatigue. However, I think every game in hockey is. Every team is playing their third game in 4 days. Minnesota is going to be playing their third game in 4 days as well. So overall fatigue, even though Vegas is on the road and have been on the road, I don't think that really favors either side here. So let's just, I thought I was going to be able to handicap a full slate. It looks like it's just going to be this game because this video is so long. But that's pretty much how I do it. So let's review everything just on this game. So first off, we have great value, right? We have Vegas at minus 111. We have, yeah, our line is minus 150. So we have value. Vegas is in excellent form. Minnesota's not in good form. Goalies, if Fleury starts tonight, he is in excellent form. Minnesota's goalie is in excellent form. We mentioned that about a specific matchup with the team. Minnesota's struggling on the power play. Vegas is really good defending the power play. So Minnesota's only chance is probably going to be even strength. So this definitely, so when you just look at this overall, I would say if you played Vegas, that would be a pretty good play. Now I want to cover this and talk about line movement with NHL. And I have, okay, let's do this real quick. Let's go to line history. We'll check line movement real quick. Now, what's interesting here, it started out at 118. It went up to 128. Now it's come back down a little bit, basically where it opened at. Now, with NHL, in hockey, there's always exceptions to the rule, and I'm hesitant to even bring this up. But with regards to public and non-public, and I've talked about this, I think I talked about this in a coaching video. I'm pretty sure that I did. NHL is a different beast altogether. I I put more stock and more weight in my power rankings than I do the actual line movement or public and non-public money. Now, I would say NHL is probably the only exception to that, whereas other sports never would play a public team. But NHL, it is a little bit different because most people that wager on NHL is a very difficult sport to wager on. Most people that wager on NHL lose. There's even sharps that attempt to wager on NHL struggle. Just a very difficult sport. So that being said, I don't put much weight into public and non-public. I still want to know where the money is. But this is definitely leaning towards a play for Vegas, especially when you factor everything in. And it's definitely, there's no way you could look at this and say that would be a bad play. So more than likely, yeah, Vegas will probably be a play. So let's jump over here, see if we have, God, I thought we'd have some questions here. So if you got a question, if you're watching this live, drop one in here. I'll see if I can answer it real quick. And if this is your first time watching this video, or if you want to become a client, you can go to the website. There'll be a link in the description box. You get access to my power rankings that you see. Let me pull this back up. So you get access to NHL power rankings, NCAA power rankings, the same power rankings I use to handicap the games. The one we just did here, it's $29.95 per month. And you also get access to all of our coaching videos on the website. And then I will make post or video that are just for coaching clients. I made a really good post today on college basketball, a lot of value there. So I do that maybe once a week, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. You have access to that. And of course, you can email yours truly with any questions you have about handicapping. Now, if you want access to all my power rankings, all the coaching videos, and all of my plays for all sports, that is $49.95 per month and gives you access to everything on the site. I send out all my plays via Telegram. This is a really good app so that the very second that I make a wager, boom, I send you that play so you have access to it immediately. And finally, if you want to join for an entire year, it is $2.99. That gives you access to everything on the site. If you paid that in full, that would be a total of $600. So by prepaying, you get a discount of 50%. So anyway, hopefully you like this video. It provided you some good content. Man, I'm worn out just doing this video. And we'll talk to you guys here soon. Peace.